Hello and welcome to the Melge Gaming YouTube channel. Following on from my first video a few weeks back where we talked about the 5 biggest mistakes that new streamers make, today we're going to be talking about background lighting and camera. Now that covers everything from green screens to background aesthetics to camera choice and lighting setups. If you haven't seen the original video that covers all of the topics broadly, then I'd highly recommend that you check it out. I'll put a link up in the corner for you now so that you can go and have a look. But for the time being, let's get into background lighting and cameras. We're going to start today's video by taking a look at green screens because I feel like that's why a lot of you are probably here. Also, the benefit to looking at green screens first is it's going to help highlight the benefit of having a good quality camera and lighting setup. When we look at this today, we're going to be using the Elgato green screen, but I do just want to reiterate, because I know it's an expensive green screen, that ultimately it has very little impact on the end result. The reason that I've purchased the Elgato is for the fact that it packs away nice and compact and it's easy to store, it's easy to move, but ultimately any green screen will give you the same results. So now we're inside of OBS and we're going to have a look at how we can key out our green screen. So to start with, what we've got here is our webcam feed, unedited, nothing done to it. The first thing that we're going to want to do is have the green screen set up behind us, and we're going to want to crop our image to take out any of these bits of the background that are not obscured by the green screen. So to do that, we press and hold the Alt key whilst dragging the sides of the image. So we want to just take out these edges here and make sure that all we're left with is the green screen in the background. The next thing that we want to do is then add on our chroma key, which is going to remove the green screen, make it transparent so that we can see the image that's placed behind it. So to do that, you right click on your source and you go to filters, and you'll want to add an effect filter called a chroma key. Now the key color type is what relates to the kind of screen that you have, so you can have blue screens as well as green screens. Obviously we are using a green screen, so our key color type is green. I'm going to enable this filter now, and you're going to see what it's going to do. It should immediately key out this green, and we'll have a look at the settings and what the difference they make to the removal of the green screen. So here we go. So as you can see there, it's nicely keyed out. We've got to be careful about your edges and bounds. Obviously it becomes quite clear you're using a green screen when you go outside the bounds of the crop. Now to have a look at what the different settings do here, your similarity is how close to the color green does the green need to be before it gets keyed out. So if we bring the similarity all the way down, it means it has to be exactly the right color. If you bring the similarity all the way up, it's going to start keying out things that it shouldn't be keying out, like yourself. So you need to have a little play with this and get it just right. That feels about good for me. Smoothness is the smoothness of the removal of the green screen. Again, if you bring it down too far, you'll get fuzzy edges and corners, and you'll get this line around the subject. If you bring it up too high, again, it will start keying out too much. So again, you're just gonna have to sit there and play with the slider to get it just right. Your key color spill reduction is how much color it's gonna try and ignore whilst doing the keying out of the chroma. If you bring it up too much, you'll see it makes your image black and white. Opacity is, as it is with every filter, how opaque the image ends up being. And then you've got your common contrast, brightness, and gamma settings down the bottom here. And that is how you key out a green screen using a filter on OBS. We are going to have a little look now at lighting on a green screen and how it can make a big difference. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move a light really close to the green screen, and you can see what happens when you overlight a green screen. So bear with me for just 2 seconds. So you can see this spot right here is what happens when your lights are way too bright or way too close to the green screen itself. Obviously you want to avoid this. And then if you've not got enough light, you're going to struggle to differentiate between yourself and the actual green screen. So let's have a look at this filter here and see if there's any settings we can tweak to try and get this to remove on such low light. Realistically, no, because it starts clipping into my clothes. So this should highlight to you just how important the lighting is for the green screen. What I'm going to do now is just flick on some side lighting that I've got. Immediately you can see it becomes better. Let's just sort the smoothness out. And just tweak that similarity till we get rid of the outline around me. That's slightly better. I've only got some side lighting here on though. I've not actually got anything differentiating me from the green screen behind me. So let's get something switched on that's gonna create a little bit of depth in the image. And now we've got a light on that's creating a bit of depth between me and the green screen. So it's placed above my head height, shining directly behind me, but not catching any of me so as not to create any shadows on the green screen. And that's probably the best bit of advice that I can give you, is to aim for a smooth, even coverage of lighting across the green screen, and that will help with having to key it out. It will make it much easier for you. Next, we're going to talk about lighting in general and some of the things that you need to consider when you're choosing your lighting. If you know me and my stream, then you know what lighting means to me. Now, there are a number of options when it comes to lighting yourself. You could be looking at key lights, ring lights, soft light, harsh light, yellow light, white light, lots of things to consider. You need to find out what works best for you and your camera. All of these things work in conjunction with each other to provide your final image. That is to say that you may find a lighting setup that works really well for you, but if you change your camera, then you may need to edit that lighting setup. So what advice can I give when it comes to lighting? Really, the key is to just try it. It's so unique to your individual setup and circumstances that the best thing that you can do is try different lighting and review it for yourself. Try lighting yourself at different angles and different heights, with different brightness of light and with different colors, whether that's like a warm yellowish light or a more harsh white light. All of these things are going to drastically impact the final result of your cam feed. And lastly, we're going to discuss cameras. And I cannot stress enough that much like with audio, getting a good image from your camera is best done by getting a good image in the room. That is to say that getting your lighting right in the room is far better than trying to fix a lighting issue further down the line with some software. And when it comes to camera, you only really have one major choice to make, which is whether you're going to go DSLR or webcam. Now, obviously webcams are highly accessible, they're inexpensive, they require next to no knowledge to use, they're simply plug and play. There are some really good quality webcams on the market, including the Logitech C920 series, and a lot of the top streamers still use USB webcams because they're more than adequate for their needs. However, if you're looking for that top tier image, then you are going to want to use a DSLR camera. Now, the issue with a DSLR camera is, unlike a webcam, you can't just plug it in via USB. You will need to take a HDMI out of the DSLR and into a capture card and then inject the image into your stream. DSLRs also have a lot more settings that you'll require a bit of knowledge to make good use of. Once you've got your camera quality and your lighting just the way you would like it, you can start to tweak it inside of OBS. I would start by looking at adjusting your white balance, your backlight comp, and your brightness. These three settings tend to have the biggest impact on the final result. Now, for a lot of camera models, these settings inside of OBS don't get saved. So when you find a setup that you like, make a note of the settings and remember to reapply them every time you relaunch OBS. Now, there is tons that we could cover when we're talking about background, camera, and lighting. I've tried to touch briefly on a few of the things that you can try as a beginner to improve that cam quality for you. I hope this has given you some ideas about some stuff that you can try. As always, if there's anything that I've missed out or something that you'd like more information on, please don't hesitate to let me know in the comments below. Make sure that you subscribe and like and turn on notifications to get notified when future videos go live. Thanks for watching.